Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, a man pleads no contest in a fatal stabbing in Escanaba last year. We'll have the details from today's court appearance. Plus, the Baraga County Economic Development Corporation is giving an update on economic progress. There's concerns over a decreasing workforce in the area. And Marquette Area Public Schools is putting a new bond proposal forth for voters this May. We'll have the details. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Kelly, good evening. Still very cold. What's the update?
Yeah, Kevin, I wish I had some better news to report for you, like some warmer temperatures, but that's just not the case. It's going to be, we're stuck in the freezer, especially when we get to tomorrow. So as we look at our 19 News sky cam right now, things are looking good. We're not seeing a lot of snowfall. There may be a few flurries moving across Marquette County. The wind chills right now, again, compared to what we've been feeling and what we will feel, this isn't too bad for the wind chills, at least above 0 in the single digits. But once we get to tomorrow, especially tomorrow evening, we'll really start to see that cold air kick into gear. So I'll talk all about that and a look at your weekend in just a few minutes.
Kelly, thank you very much. A missing Gwynn man was found dead earlier today. The family of 46-year-old Jamie Willis had reported him missing, having last seen him late Monday evening. Today, a search party located his vehicle along CS Drive on a 2-track road. Willis's body was found about 100 yards away. Forsyth police say Willis had succumbed to the elements. They thank the community members and other law enforcement agencies who helped assist in the search. New today out of Escanaba, a man could face life in prison for charges stemming from a fatal stabbing last summer. In August, Ka Tung was arrested for murdering Stephen Tang, who was found with stab wounds to his chest and abdomen. The day before, the two had a verbal argument about money. Tung entered Tang's room while he slept, stabbing him in his bed with a kitchen knife. This afternoon, Tung pled no contest to 1 count of second-degree murder. In exchange for the plea agreement, the prosecution dismissed a separate charge of open murder. Tung is scheduled for a sentencing in May. The Baraga County Economic Development Corporation held its annual community update dinner last night. Our own John Truitt was there and shared some of the topics that were discussed.
Baraga County is in good shape. So says the chairperson for the Baraga County EDC, saying the community's buy-in is cause for optimism.
When we think about investments, everyone in this room is investing time. Some people can invest money, but we got energy from our whole community, and that's one of the things that we really value in our area.
The event allowed residents and business owners to hear updates on local economic progress and share business strategies. The keynote address was given by InvestUP CEO Marty Fatante, who has concerns over the dwindling workforce. Baraga County is losing working-age people faster than they are gaining.
And that real issue is what's going on with the loss of that prime-aged working population and the aging of our population.
But there is good news. Unemployment is down. Major manufacturers are choosing to expand rather than leave. And the Keweenaw Bay Indian community is chipping away at some of the area's shortcomings. They were recognized for a new housing project in Lawrence that was named Project of the Year. The venture will make affordable pre-construction housing lots ready to build on, available to tribal members.
The goal of that was to lay infrastructure for those homeowners, new homeowners, that may not understand, how hard that part of a housing project is. So having that in place really reduces cost for families and allows, an easier process to own a home.
With an expected budget shortfall of over $1 billion, Fatante says help from the state will be a challenge.
So for us to think that we're going to get the same type of resources out of the state in the near term, I think is a non-starter.
In Baraga, John Truitt, WZMQ 19 News.
Marquette Area Public Schools is putting forth a new bond proposal. After 2 years of both state and independent studies conducted over the MAPS district's 7 school facilities, over $100 million in infrastructure needs were found. Following adjustments with local feedback in the fall, a $59 million bond proposal covering safety improvements, HVAC systems, and building additions have been put in place for voters in early May. The district superintendent says detailed information on the proposal will be addressed further in spring.
We're looking at more town halls, likely early March, to be held in the buildings that are most impacted, preferably, so that people might even have a chance to look at some of these projects themselves.
The proposal will be voted on by the Marquette community on May 5th. Your first warning weather forecast is after the break. Kelly will let us know when we might warm up again. First, we'll have to get through the rest of this cold stretch. And protests, violence, and regime under pressure. Could Iran be on the brink of major change? We'll have the latest live from Washington, D.C. when we come back.
Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
Welcome back. We have lots to get to. We're talking about snow, we're talking about cold and how it's going to impact the weekend, especially if you're traveling anywhere down south or central portions of the U.S. But right now, locally, things are looking good. There may be a flurry into Marquette County, but we really shouldn't see too much fresh snowfall overnight. But if you are up to the Houghton and Eagle Harbor area, you'll see some of those lake effect little streamers moving through, and it does linger into Thursday and Friday. We see some of that rotation, and that's really just a result of this major cold air rushing over top of the lakes, and that's just what's going to happen because it's so cold. Yes, the water is relatively colder than it should be, or relatively cold this time of the year, but this is major cold air that will be rushing through, so there's still a temperature difference between the air itself and then the water temperature. So the future snow from now until Thursday night, maybe 3.5 to 4 inches of snow, but when you see that snow lingering around the Houghton and Eagle Harbor area, we could see maybe about 7 inches of snow from now until the end of the week. So there is a winter weather advisory for this exact area that will last through Friday night, also out to the Newberry and Sault Ste. Marie area. So we'll keep an eye on that. But talking about cold, there is now an extreme cold warning. It's been upgraded. It will go into effect Thursday night, last through Friday afternoon, and a cold weather advisory. This just points to very, very cold temperatures. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to touch on, though, this major winter storm that is going to impact a lot of the United States. About 160 million people will be under this winter storm watch for Friday night into Sunday night. So if you're looking to get out of town, travel for the weekend anywhere in this area, this may not be the best weekend to do so, because we are looking at potentially major and significant amounts of snowfall. This is something that's happening right now, developing. The energy from this storm is out into the Pacific Ocean, but because it's not even over land yet, it's still too early to throw exact totals out there. So people are asking for snow totals for a storm that isn't even over the U.S. yet. So it's just too early to tell. But what we do know is that there's major cold air with this high pressure system that will be rushing down and almost meeting this low and creating the perfect mix of a major winter storm as it moves up across the eastern portions of the U.S. So if you have any family or friends really anywhere on the East Coast, make sure they know about it, and make sure if you were planning on traveling anywhere to there, maybe be a little flexible, because this is a look at, again, not going to throw totals out there, but there is potential for significant snowfall once this really gets going. And if not snow, it's going to have a major ice component to it too, and there could be some pretty major power outages with that as well. But this is our cold temperatures that we're looking at. Once we get to tomorrow night, we're really going to see that cold surge, and we could be looking at about negative 35-degree wind chill values for Thursday night and into Friday. That's very dangerous cold that we have to get through for the rest of the week, and then we slowly get some warmth back, but it's still going to be a very cold stretch ahead that we have for the next 7 days.
Kelly, thank you very much. Some members of Congress and policy experts believe the Iranian regime is at a tipping point after large-scale protests and unrest among citizens. The regime hit back with force, and now the question is, what will happen next? Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon spoke with advocates, lawmakers, and officials to find out. He has more tonight from Capitol Hill. Brendan, good evening. Good to see you again.
Hey there, Kevin. Good to see you too, and good evening to you. The Iranian regime continues to block internet and phone access in the country in an effort to suppress resistance, as well as also to hide the violence taking place there. It has left the Iranian people in the dark, cut off from the rest of the world. Arrests, disappearances, and executions. Many of the atrocities blocked by the regime to prevent the world from seeing. Thousands have been killed this year alone, and as many as 50,000 protesters imprisoned as resistance to Iran's Islamic regime reaches new highs.
Its back is against the wall.
Advocates for change say the regime is running out of options, turning to violence and suppression.
And it has no way out, and is unfortunately unleashing its terror against the population in a much more formidable manner.
For Iranian Americans watching from afar, the pain is personal.
My community members who have lost loved ones in this very uprising have been shot in the head, at least 2 members that I am aware of.
Dr. Majid Sadishpour's brother was executed during the Iranian Revolution in 1979. He says for those still protesting and those already lost, this fight is about one thing.
We're fighting for freedom. It motivates us to continue to keep their voice alive and fight for them as well.
Now pressure is mounting on Washington and its allies. Some lawmakers believe the situation is reaching a tipping point.
This time feels different. There's this growing level of protest and uprising from young people in particular. And I think it shows the bankruptcy of the Iranian regime. They're economically bankrupt, they're morally bankrupt, militarily bankrupt.
The Iranian people deserve better. The United States stands with the people of Iran. We want to see the voices of the Iranian people being heard, their human rights respected.
But Sadishpour says supporting the resistance in Iran requires bolder action, not with money or weapons, but with recognition and pressure on U.S. allies to cut ties with the regime.
Expelling Iranian diplomats from across European capitals can be significant because the money that this regime is making is directly going to the IRGC and enabling the killing of Iranian protesters.
And Kevin, many lawmakers here on Capitol Hill, including Congressman Jack Bergman, say that it should be the goal of the U.S. To help the Iranian people who are fighting for their freedom, their long-term freedom, and to also ensure that there is no genocide taking place. Reporting live on Capitol Hill for WZMQ 19 News, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Kevin, back to you.
Brendan, thank you very much, sir. Coming up next on Insights, the UP 200 will be back before we know it, and volunteers are a huge part. We'll hear what opportunities there are for you to get involved. That conversation's 2 minutes.
We've got young mushers this year. We've got, you could do a volunteer spotlight on somebody who has volunteered for a while.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Let's see, what else? Talking to any of our long-term NMU organizations, specifically Criminal Justice Association, the head of that might talk to you guys. Oh, yeah. Chris is really great.
What do they do?
They are our crowd control always.
Awesome.
And then they also run the warming center right out of your building here.
Because I'm doing ham radio, guys, but I just wanted to...
You might meet my dad.
Maybe you did, John. You did it last year too.
I've done it 3 years in a row.
No, Tom Perry is my dad.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah. If you stand us next to each other, it's pretty obvious.
He's an old hung head.
Yeah. That raised me.
My dad's an electronics engineer too.
Kind of. I don't know that I'm raisable personally.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. Every UP 200, there's a wave of volunteers that make sure everything runs smoothly. Joining us now to tell us how you might be able to help is Volunteer Coordinator Meg Oliva. Meg, good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you.
Can you believe it? I think it's a little more than 3 weeks.
It is. I almost did the math earlier, but I don't think I want to know.
Well, I don't think I could do the math regardless.
Feel that.
All right, let's talk about these volunteer opportunities. First, tell us just how many people help out every year?
Just with Marquette and Alger County alone, the people that I organize, we get over 450, 500 volunteers. Mm-hmm. Add Grand Marais to that, and there is 700 people easily.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of things are they doing as far as helping out with the race?
We prioritize road crossings to make sure our mushers have a smooth entrance and exits from all of their trails and make sure that all traffic is clear. We have dog handling. We got to check everybody's bags, make sure they have appropriate equipment. Mm-hmm. We have to have people at our checkpoint. We got cook positions at those checkpoints. So there's a little bit for everybody. We've got a wide spread of merchandise from Thursday all the way to the following Monday. So there's indoor, there's outdoor, there's all sorts of opportunities still available.
And you were telling me just a little bit ago off camera that you're actually doing very well for this so far with
we've got a lot of returners this year, which I want to make sure and articulate how grateful I am for that. It's so good to see the same names pop up like, oh yeah, you know what you're doing, we got this, or at least we can wing it a little better than we did last year. And so I've got a lot more confidence in what we're building, and I feel like we're actually building something, and it's a really good feeling.
All right, absolutely. Tell us more about what they do at the checkpoints. You said cooking, of course. What else?
So I run the Chatham checkpoint as well as being the volunteer coordinator. And so we are responsible for welcoming in the midnight run, parking all the drivers, and then getting them back out. So what those checkpoints do, so we have Chatham and Wetmore. They are the pause points for our mushers. So the Wetmore one is the pause for our UP 200. They take their naps, they get their timing, they make sure everything is okay, all the dogs are safe. The vets check everybody over, and then we get them scooted out on their way. And it's a full weekend gig for our Wetmore folks. It's just a night for me, thankfully.
Definitely. As far as ways that people can get involved, are there still opportunities available?
There's opportunities literally for everything still. There's everything for start is getting pretty well full. But if you want to dog handle and you miss that start, we also have a lot of opportunities out at the Jack Pine 30, which is our race that kind of gets forgotten. It's Saturday during the day. It's from about 10 a.m. to about 4 p.m. It's a short little race that involves younger mushers, but you can get your hands on everything doing that. And it is in Gwinn, so we're really hoping to be able to start pumping that up more as a more community engaged process.
Definitely, and for the volunteers, really, this is a special opportunity for them to get a little more deeper into this event instead of just watching from the sidelines. Can you talk about that?
I do warn you, you will get sucked in. This is year 15 for me. I started when I was in college. It's not 15 years straight, but this is the 15th year that I've helped on many different levels, because there's nothing quite like the energy of a sled dog race. And it is super special that we get to start right here, coming down Washington Street, and the joy and the chaos. I have never seen that many people downtown as I did last year. So I'm hoping that we can do it again and just, again, continue to build and grow.
Excellent. Yeah, we're looking forward to it ourselves. Meg, good to see you again.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you
so
too.
much for coming on.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And still to come on your 19 News, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, we'll have some tips to keep in mind when hitting the car lot. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back, everyone. A car is one of the biggest purchases most people make, and the cost of owning one is pretty substantial. Jill Schlesinger looks at what you need to know if you're trying to get a new set of wheels.
If you're in the market for a car or truck for the first time in a while, brace yourself for higher costs. The average price recently soared past $50,000. That's due to a combination of inflation and people purchasing larger and more expensive vehicles. Anyone taking the plunge should start by determining how much you can afford. According to AAA, the total cost of owning and operating a new vehicle is about $1,000 per month. So managing this expense is going to require some homework. Always do your research before walking into a dealership. Even if you have been loyal to a particular brand or seller, consider expanding your search to other options and a broader geographic area. Most of this information can be found online. If you drive cars into the ground, you're usually best served by buying. Even if you borrow money to buy, once that loan is paid off, your annual cost of the car drops significantly. But if you're frequently drawn to shiny new vehicles with improved safety options and the latest technology, consider leasing. A lease usually requires a smaller down payment and results in lower monthly payments. And don't forget, the willingness to walk away is your best negotiating tool.
More offices around the country are taking an unusual step by asking employees to take their shoes off Ditching street shoes at the door can have surprising benefits for your health. Bradley Blackburn explains why.
At the New York City office of AI startup Spur, the workplace looks like any other until you glance down at the floor.
I think this is the first interview I've ever done in my socks.
Co-founders Sneha Sivakumar and Anushka Nachalan have made their company shoe-free.
Gives a feeling of home where, this becomes your second home, especially when you're building a startup.
The hours we put in, it's just like not comfortable to have shoes on the whole time.
Just like in Shoes Off homes, you leave street shoes at the door. But here, Spur's employees and office guests can slide into custom-branded indoor footwear. No shoes is now a key part of their company culture.
We're all on the same team. We're all trying to do something together.
They're not alone. According to tracking website noshoes.fun, companies all around the world are walking the walk. The goal is more than comfort and culture, it's cleanliness.
It's actually pretty grim.
Indiana University professor Gabriel Filippelli tested shoes and was surprised to learn what we track in on our soles. It can pose risks for health.
Heavy metals, which can impact, particularly if you have children at home, can impact their neurological development, their brains, their organs. That dust and soil might also contain E. coli contaminants, which can cause significant gastrointestinal issues.
Data shows damp mopping helps, but he says leaving contaminants by the front doors of homes or offices just makes sense.
This is a risk you can manage.
It's working in this workplace. The only problem here, they need a bigger shoe rack.
It's like part of us.
And for more companies, the shoe fits when you don't wear it.
Now don't go away. When we come back, Kelly Rowland will have our final look at weather. Stay tuned.
And a final check of your forecast here. The snow is to a minimum. There may be a few flurries into Marquette County for tonight. We will see some more snow, lake effect snow developing, but more importantly too, the extreme cold warning. This does point to wind chill values as low as negative 35 degrees, and we'll really start to feel that cold kick into effect for tomorrow morning, sitting at about 10 to 15, even 20 degrees below zero for the feels like temperature. And then throughout the day, Thursday and Friday morning, that's the time period of some of those coldest temperatures. So please please make sure when you're headed out the door doing anything outside to dress in layers and covering exposed skin, because with this type of dangerous bitter cold, it could take as low as maybe even 5 minutes to start to feel the effects of frostbite. So especially for Friday, high temperatures likely below 0, and then the weekend will slowly climb things back up, but we'll have more in your forecast later tonight.
Kelly, thank you very much. And finally tonight, UP students explored STEM careers this morning in Escanaba. Michigan Tech brought its Mind Trekkers program to the UP State Fairgrounds. Students enjoyed more than 60 science fair style activities, from learning about chemical reactions to trying liquid nitrogen ice cream. Booths were manned by Michigan Tech students and businesses like North Country Electrical Line School, Independent Machine Company, and Van Air Incorporated, exposing students to potential future jobs at an early age.
Is when they're the most curious and when they're the most open to trying new things and learning about new opportunities, and we want to make sure that they're also setting themselves up for success with the classes that they take to support their future career aspirations.
The event was a collaboration between Michigan Tech and Bay College. That's it for now, everyone. We'll see you later tonight.